Okay, tonight's program is on composites. So we have some club members who are going to share making composites. Who'd like to lead off? Marlene?
Sure. So let me just tell you before I start sharing my screen that the project that we did with Chuck's images that was sent a while back, I did one way, choosing it in Lightroom and editing it as layers. And then Anne came over yesterday and we worked on making sure that this would work today. And I learned a whole other way of possibly doing it. That was more lengthy and involved and was a really good way. But after she left, I decided, let me look at it once more. So what hopefully you'll see tonight is the third version of what I did. So let's see what happens. And I have to say the Zoom screen can be so annoying because it works sometimes and then it doesn't work another time. So keep your fingers crossed. So I'm going to show the first screen I'm showing you is hopefully you can see the source image that was sent out among those other images. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay, so I want you to notice that the circles and the pattern was circular. And then the other image I took and I combined was this image, which I took in New Paltz. And I did something with the layers and revealing the underlayer. And I created this. And if you can see, the shape of those textured circles are now elongated, which I did not even notice when I first did it. So I'm going to stop sharing and get rid of that screen. You know, all of us have different backgrounds, and Anne has an interior decorator background, so she has a different eye than I do. I hadn't even noticed that. So now I'm going to share this screen and Lightroom Classic. Because some of the people in our group use Lightroom. So I took those two images, this one that I did in New Paltz and the source image that Chuck sent, and I edited in as layers. I don't know if people who use Lightroom know that you can open as layers. Can you see my Photoshop screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you can see, when I turn off my picture, what Chuck sent was really tiny. And it was a horizontal image, not a vertical image. So in the first go around, I just used the transform tool and I dragged it without really noticing how elongated those patterns were. But this next time, I just really went all the way out. This. So if you notice, now it's still round, and I did okay. So that I can commit to it, but it's not showing me a commitment. Oh, look, isn't that interesting? This is what happens sometimes. Okay, yeah. So then I close this layer and I went to my original layer and I selected the window, the couple with their drinks. So I use a regular quick selection tool. This will be very simple. And I put that on its own layer. And let's see if I'm going to make this work. I'm going to take that
Marlene,
selection.
What did
Yeah.
you do to put it on its own layer?
Command
Once you-
J.
Okay.
Command J.
So once you have the selection, okay.
Right. And then I'm going to drag it up to the top layer. And guess what? It didn't work this time.
Lean on a PC, it would be Control J.
Yes.
Yeah, I
exactly.
got that.
So let me see why it's not working now. Let's see. You see, this afternoon it worked.
But you don't have the window at all. There's no, the window.
The window is in the second layer. This is the window and the eye is on. And let me show you. Okay, hold on. Oh, isn't that interesting? Where is it? My selection. So this is, okay, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to get rid of this layer. Let me see what this layer is. It's really weird. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this and try again. It was so easy when I finally found it, and now it's not working again. How often is that? So do Command J. Let's see. Nope. It's not working today. It worked before. So you're going to have to try it because it worked today and it worked yesterday when I just dragged that layer and it's not even showing up here and I don't know why.
But
Could you
it's on
just
the
copy
bottom.
and
You
paste
have
it?
to, you have to raise it, be higher than the background. You have it as the lowest layer.
You have to drag that layer up.
Up.
Drag it
You
by
have
the
to move that
title
up.
or the picture.
No, wait a minute. This, I was trying to get to the selection and I do not see the selection, which I transformed it and made it smaller. It would work so beautifully today. It was the selection. I'm going to get rid of this layer. Let's try it again. This is up here. I'll get rid of this layer. See, with all the practice, you can still get screwed up.
You're doing fine.
It's okay. I know, but it's annoying. So here's the two layers again. I'm going to try again. I highlighted this. I'm selecting this. Can you see the selection?
Yes.
Yes.
And then I'm doing Command J. Ah, there it is. And let's see, I turn this off. And if I drag this up here. Oh. Okay, but what I didn't do, hold on. Now it's gone already. Okay, let's bring it down here. What I forgot to do was to use the transform. But you
The
get the
circles
idea.
around.
You get the idea that when it was on its own layer, I used the transform tool, Command T, and I shrunk it a little bit.
It's
so that
still
it was-
on its own layer. You can get the distort tool and do that.
It's now combined, so I don't think I can.
Not combined.
It's on its own layers, so you can now do the,
But you know something? Let me see. Let me see if that's true. Yes, I can. So I can do T and shrink it a bit. You're right. So it's a little bit more in proportion. But this was the easiest way of all the three options. The point is, when it works, it's just amazing what you can do. You just have to remember to drag that selection into the source layer and then do whatever you want with it.
Couldn't you have just selected it and pasted it, copied and pasted it?
I tried that, and for some reason, I tried dragging it and dropping it. I tried copying and pasting. This is the way it
So
works.
essentially you copied and pasted it onto its own layer.
Yes, I selected what
Well,
I wanted.
selecting it is copying it
Yeah.
and pasting it on its own layer.
Yeah. And when I did it in the first way for the group, I just you can reveal the layer below, but in doing it that way, you're getting other things, other elements in the picture. And this is clean because if you do a clean selection, you don't have to fuss with it. So I was really pleased with this last method. And this is after trying all these different ways. So that's it. I didn't put happy anniversary. It's in the second version, but I used text. I'll just do it fast. Happy. This is too big. Let me make.
Well, can you type in something different, like here's to you?
I can do anything. Let me just make it a little smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Here's to you. And if you want to change the color, I have to move this out of the way. If you don't want it that color, you can change it to a color you can really see better. You can change the size. And of course, that's on its own layer, so you can always go back and change it.
Good. Very nice.
That's great,
Yeah,
Marlene.
nice.
Yeah. Thank you, Marlene.
Marlene,
Yep.
ask you a question.
Rain, I
Okay.
can't hear you.
You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm unmuted.
Okay.
I am working with Photoshop 2022 or something. Should I download to 2024? Is it much different?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If your computer can go with the latest version, I would absolutely recommend it. There are so many amazing new tools.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much, Marlene. This
job.
is great.
All right,
Right.
next,
I'll go.
thank you, Marlene.
You're welcome.
Henny, are you ready?
Yes.
We're
We can
seeing
see
the
a
ball,
bunch of images.
3 images, and we see all the screenshots.
Okay, now do you see on the right my layers panel?
No.
Anybody
Yes.
else? Can anybody see my layers panel?
I see layer panels.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Very.
You see it? You see me
Can't
moving
read
this
it.
around?
Yes, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No,
This-
not that. Look where my cursor is. This is the one thing that's.
No,
No.
You don't see that?
No.
Okay. Then I'll use the 6 things that I have here. This was my original image. And this is what it came in as. And these are the 2 that I added, Spiderweb 1 and Spiderweb 2. So this, let me go to number 1. So that's what that layer would look like.
Got
The
it.
ball selected. Then I added Spiderweb 1 as the next layer, which would be this. And that's what it would look like when I added it.
Penny, how do you, when you open your machine, like what do you do?
Okay, thank you. Ask questions, it'll be easier that way. I had this as my base image.
Okay,
And I had these, I was playing with several different spiderweb images that I took on somebody's lawn on Halloween, and I selected these.
yeah.
What I did, I duplicated the layer by going Command J because it's a JPEG. And then I was able to just drag. I can't demonstrate it here very well, but I would drag from Spiderweb 1, just drag and drop it into my main photo image of the ball, and it would come up as this second layer. It would come up as that, where you see
So
Spiderweb
So you
1.
hit, excuse me, you touch Command J, and then you go to the picture and drag it?
Yeah, it's a duplicate of the layer. Sometimes the first layer is locked in a JPEG file. And just to be sure, I just duplicate that layer and in the image itself, drag it over on top of the image that's a PSD file. Now, one thing that I needed for this to work, all the images I made sure were the same resolution. Now they're JPEGs, but when I opened them up, they were all 300 DPI, like out of my camera. And so I dragged this one in over it. It's not letting me do it now, but I dragged it in, and then very strange.
You
with this
changed
one-
the remember you changed the opacity in the film?
Yes, I'm trying to find that image. Apparently that one just, here it is. Okay. Right, this is Spiderweb 1. So you see, I've selected it and the eyeball is open. And if you look here, I had the opacity, was playing around to get what I wanted. Made the opacity 50%. And for whatever reason, the fill in addition came out, this worked for me. And you see, I created a layer mask. And within that mask, white reveals, black hides. So within the mask, I brushed away, I made the shape of the ball. So the spider web did not appear in front of the ball. It is like the ball is on top of it, just for the image's sake.
Okay, yeah,
That's what that looks like.
okay.
So that's the first spider web. Then let me click on that. So that's what that looked like. Let me get the spiderweb 2. This was the only way I could make it work because I'm having issues. Whoops. Geez, I lost something. Okay. I'm new to this. I had to reload. I'm having issues, so just bear with me. Okay, we have this one. This is spiderweb 2. I then dragged this spiderweb. I did the same thing. Instead of unlocking the layer, I just Command J'd it and then dragged from this file right over to this. There are other ways you can do it. You can copy the layer and then paste it. There are so many ways of doing it. I just felt that for me, this worked best. So I dragged that in, and this is what I had. And you can see this one had different fill and opacity to have it fade more into the background. So that's what this screenshot was. And I'm going to go on my actual layers, and you can see what it did. You see when I clicked on the second one, had the eyeball showing, this is what it did. It made it darker because it was another one, but it was still not too dark because I lowered the opacity and fill. Did I explain that clearly, or does anybody have a question? Okay, I'll take that as...
Keep
Pardon?
going.
That's what I assume now. Then, just a second. The next layer up, you can see, was define. It's a Nick, one of the Nick programs. I don't know if you can see what I'm dragging up.
Yes.
You can, okay. It's one of the Nick software. That's what I did for some reason in this particular image. Noise reduction a little bit. And this is what it actually would look like when I hit define. It didn't change it that much, but it was something that I wanted to do. Then, so this is what my final image will look like. Then I did, whoops. This one, where I merged the layers to make a brand new layer. How I did that was I selected these 4 by holding down the shift key, selecting the ball, selecting spiderweb 1, then 2, and define. So they were all selected. And somewhere on the top of the layer thing, it could tell you to, well, I don't know how to do it regularly. I do it with a keyboard shortcut on my Mac using Command, Option, Shift, the letter E. And using that combination of keyboard characters made it a new layer, and it was labeled either layer 3 or whatever I had there. And I changed the name. And on this one, I didn't do a lot of retouching because I wanted to keep a lot of the schmutziness there. So what I did, you can see, it took away 1 or 2 of the leaf things. And that was my final composite.
Where'd Natalie go?
Okay. Okay,
Great.
In other words, your final thing, as you said,
I lost you. Say that again. I don't hear you. Oh, you're muted again. Rain, you're muted.
I know, now I'm not. It just goes
Right.
back on its own.
Very weird. Yeah, computers
Yeah.
are. What was your
So,
question?
when you do the final merging, you select all of the layers underneath, right?
Yes, let me go back to that
Yeah.
thing and make it bigger again.
It automatically, how do you, I understand you're then creating the final layer. Is it just that when you select them, it kind of, when you do,
It's a feature. in
I'll
fact,
be showing that when I do my presentation.
right, you'll be able to show it, but I'm saying,
Demonstrating that.
but I'm just explaining that by selecting any layer that you want to combine into a final image, just to make it, I do it so that I don't have any destructive layers. I do it so that I can then work again if I needed to change it. I could
Right.
do it. So by selecting these 4, and for me using those keyboard shortcuts, it created this. I
okay,
could, if I wanted, turn off the eyes of all of these so they wouldn't be confusing to people if they're going to look at it. And
Yeah.
it would still show this and look the same. It'd be the merged of all of it.
Eddie,
All right, can,
That's
Good,
better.
oh,
great, Natalie.
is that there?
Yeah,
there we go.
we see composites, Natalie, and there's
Okay. Okay, let me see if I can make that, if I can draw this out for you.
maybe in view.
Okay, can you see it now? The
Yes,
full screen?
Much
Still
better.
too-
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
guys?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so I'm in Lightroom here. And I'm just showing you one of the images. So I go to edit in Photoshop. I go edit in Photoshop, and I bring it into Photoshop. And both images are there. I have the my image, which is Easter Island, and I have the pilings image, which was the background image. So once they're both in Photoshop, I usually make a duplicate copy of the background image. And then I go to the image that I want to use for the composite. And if you can see the selection. I made a selection around this mouth, around this object. For this one, I use the magnetic selection tool, but you can use any of them. And I add and subtract. Up here are the add and subtract buttons. I add and subtract to make it as perfect as I can. And then while I'm on the selection, I do Control C, which on the PC is copy. I guess it's Command C on a Mac.
Right.
And then I open up the background image, and then I paste it, which is Control V. And I put it on the image, but it's obviously not the right size for this particular image. Same as Marlene was saying, it was way too big. And when you do that, when you copy and paste over here on I circled, it becomes a layer when you copy and paste. So it became a layer over that. And you have to remember, anytime you want to adjust just the selection, you have to highlight that layer. So the first thing I want to do is resize it. So I go Edit, Transform, Scale, because I want to keep it in the same scale. Using the box that surrounds it from Transform, I make it the size I want, and I moved it into the position on one of the pilings. And then to change the angle, I used Edit, Transform, and Rotate. And then I could swing it around a little. And then because it's such a hazy image, I wanted to blur. The figure a little. So I made a selection here. I made a selection to better fit with the background. I used the lasso tool, and then I went to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and I chose the amount that I wanted to blur. And then actually I went back and blurred it a little more. I added a little more to the blur. The blur on its own layer, and then that kind of fit better in the image. And then I just do the exact same thing. I go back to Lightroom. I picked another figure. I brought it in and I copied the same steps. And I put each of them on one of the pilings. So basically, my way of doing it is on a separate, open them separately and select what I want and do a copy and paste. And that's my method.
Nice and simple.
Yeah.
This
Thank
is what
you.
Easter Island is gonna look like if we continue with global warming.
Yes. Right.
Oh, well,
Good
I'm
job,
glad you
Matt.
were able to share your screen, Natalie.
Yeah,
was
great.
much better.
And if anybody wants that, since it's a PDF, I can send it. So
Thank
if
you.
anybody wants my little thing, I'm happy to send it to you.
I
Thank
think
you
you
very
did a
much.
great.
Helen?
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. And
Oh, my goodness.
all right, so my composites all have to do with where you go to tourist attractions and they have those boards with cutouts for faces.
Yes.
So I have a whole collection of Chuck and myself, I take a picture of the board and then I paste our face in. So this was in Alaska in 2008. Key West.
Whoa, pretty cool.
And Gatorland,
Oh my God.
and at the Miami Zoo. And that's Chuck.
Oh, no.
That's what happens when you get sat on by an elephant.
This is the Renaissance Fair.
It's adorable.
So
This
do you
is-
use these for greeting cards, Helen?
I just, sometimes, or just, I mean, I just keep them as a collection for fun.
They are so much
They're
fun.
fun. They are so much fun. Yes.
This
They
is,
really are.
in Las Vegas.
Alien Travel Center and Broadway. Okay.
And this is from a farm stand in New Jersey. And this is the Rhinebeck Aerodrome.
Oh, love that place.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, we're on the right, I guess, as you look at it.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Our faces in.
Where? Okay.
That's the Rhinebeck Aerodrome. We're on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's in the red bow tie.
Great.
And you have a whole well, not chronological, but a whole history of you guys because you look so different in each of them.
Yeah.
And this is from Mystic Aquarium.
Mhm.
And this is from the Highland Games down here.
These are wonderful.
This is
Are
great.
you gonna show us how you did
I
one?
am, I'm gonna show you, but I
Okay.
wanted, and this is one where I put in the whole family.
Oh, it's lovely.
Right.
Who's driving?
Looks like Chuck,
Yeah, Chuck's
if
driving.
it's the United States, if it's somewhere else, it could be me.
No, it's gotta be the US because the door is on
Oh,
this side.
Right, okay.
Right.
School bus store, right. All right, so now I have to stop sharing and I'm gonna open one of the images.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna reshare.
Photoshop.
Where is, right here. All right,
Did you share?
yes. Oh, no, wait.
We see it. I see it.
Yes, all right.
You're sharing.
What do I
Yeah.
push that? Okay,
But we're not seeing the Photoshop panels or anything.
I am. I see your layers
I
and
think
your
it's-
history.
you don't see the Photoshop panel?
You have to scroll over a lot to see it. It's not close by, but yes, it's there.
Okay, now I see it. I had to move
See all
things
your- I
over.
see all your layers.
You have to move away,
Yeah, you
yeah.
have to move some of the faces or, okay. So this is, this was the basic image. And then, yeah, I duplicated the background layer and I used the transform tool to make the signboard fill the frame. I used edit, transform, scale, and edit, transform, distort to make it fit the frame. Then I selected the spaces where the faces belonged. And I selected them and then I went Command X, which is to delete them. So it makes a whole.
Ah, uh-huh.
Aha.
Say that again, how you got the X?
Well, essentially, I selected the spaces where I wanted our faces to go,
Gotcha.
and I deleted the material that was in those spaces, so it left a hole where I
see.
could put our pictures.
Mhm.
Mhm. Got it.
Then I brought in my picture.
Mm.
You know, I selected it from some pictures I had on file,
Mhm.
and I brought in Chuck's picture, which also, and then the trick is that you move the layer that has the hole on top of those layers.
Mhm. So you get rid of the excess.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, you may have to use the move tool to move the faces into relative position, and then use I will show this file, edit, transform. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Edit, transform, scale.
Mhm.
I don't want that either. Let me do this. All right, let me do it on my picture. Edit, transform, scale. And you get the scale tool, you know, and you can
Ah,
make
ah.
you make it fit in the
Right.
space. And then you accept it. And that's basically it. Then what Hetty was saying is like when you're all set and the picture's just the way you like it, you go up here to this panel and you go down to merge visible, and you hold your finger on the option key
Or the Alt key on a PC.
or the alt key on the, whoops, what happened? And you get a layer that combines all the layers.
Can you do that and show it again? So we could show people that if they look at that, when you do it, you look to the right, it'll show you if it exists, that there's a keyboard shortcut to it.
Yeah, you need to be an octopus to use this keyboard shortcut.
I mean,
Also,
you don't
as-
do it, I don't do it often enough. I'm perfectly happy to use.
Well, that's fine, but it's an option. I
tool.
mean, I always, shift option command, that's all. E.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I have to put the layers back.
Okay,
All right, so these are the ones that I want to merge.
right.
And in order to merge them, I'm going to go to
Merge visible.
merge visible, and I'm going to hold down the option or alt key.
But you can see where it's highlighted. It's
Yeah.
Shift Command E plus the option key.
Right, if they want to do it that way.
Helen, where is merge visible? I'm
You
not
don't see this here?
On layers.
on oh, wait, I don't see it on here, no.
There's a little,
Here's the layers panel. Do you see the layers panel here?
Yes,
Yes.
There's a little
yeah,
drop-down menu there.
okay.
And then you go, it's toward the bottom.
Oh, okay, I had a, yeah, I thought I.
And you
had a
hold
whole
down the
screen. Yeah.
option or alt key.
Okay.
And
Great.
that's that.
Yeah, and then so the other way is, Hetty, I would do on a PC, Control Shift Alt E, and that
Right.
would do the same thing.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And you know, when you're using AI, what I have noticed is that if you do something like generate fill or something like that, and it's the properties, you make a choice. I have to do that merge visible, otherwise it won't work. So I'm always creating these new layers and after I use AI.
Because I'm wondering if it's because if you don't make one composite merge layer, it's AI is going to start looking at all the underneath layers and it makes a big mishmash. Is that a reason why it could get screwed up sometimes? If you don't have it merged. If you don't
If I
make,
don't have
It's
it merged,
more-
I can't use certain tools. That's
Right.
why I merge it.
ah,
Yes, and it makes it easier to go forward.
Yeah.
In any case, what I wanted to say was the technique I showed you can also be useful for, if you want, if there was that house that Marlene used that had windows in it, if you wanted to put an image in those windows that were in that house, you would put the layer, you would cut out the windows from the house, like I cut out the space for the faces, and you put whatever image you want in that place, and then you put the house image on top of it, so the image behind, you could adjust it so it looked more realistic than
Yeah.
just pasting it on top.
Okay. Next, I'm going to show you a quick demonstration. Oh, what is this?
This is bridge, buddy, you want?
I want
what?
bridge.
Okay, wait
There.
a minute. Oh, there, okay, you got it.
Okay.
Hmm.
So this is an image that I was starting with. It's a land iguana down here in Florida. But I wanted to do something else with it. So I took another image of a butterfly and I selected the subject, the butterfly. I inversed it. So now it's just the background that's being selected. And then I deleted the background. You could do it by Command or X or Control X or the backspace key or the delete key, depends on your computer. So now you just have the butterfly. So then I pasted the butterfly onto a new layer, but that doesn't look so great. So I had to figure out what I wanted to do with the butterfly.
Make
So
it big.
I don't know if you can see it clearly, but the butterfly is right here.
Oh,
I
yeah,
went to
yeah.
transform scale and I
Oh,
reduced the
uh-huh.
size.
amazing how it looks camouflaged.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool,
Okay.
very
Oh, wow.
cool.
So
That's not over yet.
it's not, we're not there yet. I then moved,
Mm.
I distorted it to give it a little different shape. I rotated it and I moved it to the front of the mouth
Oh,
so
wow.
that it looks like it's in the mouth. But if you look carefully, there's some stuff here that's sort of over the mouth. So
Right.
Mhm.
my final step was to use the erase tool. I don't know if you can see the difference. It's very minor.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
So that
back.
it looks like the butterfly is in the mouth of the iguana.
Can you go back that one step? So I can see the difference?
Well, what I'll do is I will show both of these images together.
Oh, good. It's very subtle.
Very subtle, but there is a difference of what the mouth is covering or what the butterfly is covering over here. So this looks like it's actually in the mouth, and this one, it looks like one is pasted over the other. And he's getting away.
Don't
Couldn't
see.
you open that mouth and have the butterfly be half in?
I could.
Are land iguanas vegetarian like the Galapagos, or are they?
Yes, they
bug-eating?
are.
Oh, they're veggies also?
Yes.
Maybe.
So then it wouldn't be
Yeah.
eating a butterfly.
Not in real life, but God, the colors are so gorgeous on those pictures.
Oh, yeah, they're beautiful.
Okay. So let me stop sharing. We have one more presenter. That's Ann Broder. Ann, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, good luck.
I'll need it.
We did a lot of practicing. Stupid Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom.
Okay, everybody see that?
Yes.
What?
Good, we see it.
Okay. So, let me open. So these are the photos that Chuck gave us. And this folder is about the sunflower. And I selected,
Are you in, Anne? Are you in Photoshop?
Oh, yeah.
yes, yes. Yes, I opened in Photoshop.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I selected, whoops. I selected the flower
Mm-hmm.
and I put it on its own layer, which is over here, over there. And I have to turn that off. And then I went to the window wall. And this group is all about the wall with the window. So this is the photo that Chuck gave us. And over here, I'm explaining what I did. I selected an area to the right side of the wall with the polygonal tool. You could also use the rectangle tool. And you hold Option Command keys and click on this area here and drag it to the left to cover the window. And when you do that, because there's a design on the wall, you have to line it up so that it matches. And I'll show you how you do that. So this is the finished wall, but let me go back a step. I have to go back a step. So here I'm gonna use the rectangular tool. And I'm gonna drag that down. And I'm gonna hold Option Command keys. And whoop.
You have to be in the right layer. And you have to highlight the layer, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we hold Option Command and drag that over to the left. And if you see here the
pattern.
Yeah. So what you have to do is kind of match it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we have all this empty space over here because I made the canvas wider. because I wanted my picture to have a rectangular shape to it. So you go back to the selected area and you hold down Option Command and you drag another panel and match it up. And we still have a little piece over here. So you do the same thing, Option Command, and you match up the pattern. And then Command D to get rid of the selection tool. And after you do that, you wind up with this wall that's all matched up. Then I went over to this group 2 is all about the window. I gotta get rid of this here. Okay. So I have something turned on here. Okay. Okay. Whoop. I have something else turned on. Right.
Oh, all the way in the top. Sometimes that happens. Yeah.
No, that's, I have to have that one on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I don't know why that's happening. Let's see. Is there anything else that's on? Oh. Turn that off and turn this on. Ah, I see it's connected. All right, let's go down and try it again. There we go. Okay. So this group is all about the window. So I'm going to take, I'm going to use a quick select tool and I'm going to select the window. I'm doing a very, very bad job, but you get the idea. And I'm going to put it on its own layer, okay? Which I have already done over here.
Put it on its own layer, use the Command
Yeah.
J.
So here we have the selected window. And at this point, I suppose you want to trim the edges. And I'll show you how I do that. So I usually, I do it with the polygonal lasso and say you just wanted to get that piece off. You select it. Oops. And hit delete. I have something else on. And you hit delete. These
And
selections.
sometimes it doesn't work.
But you get the idea, right? Okay. Okay. So let's see, the next step, we trim the edges. And there's a clean version of the window. And now I'm going to make, I want to have double windows. I want them 2 windows, sets of windows together. So to make a duplicate window, you hold down the Option Command key and drag the duplicate to the right. And I lined up the 2 windows to make a single double window. So turn this off. And I'm going to turn both of these on. And then up here, I did Command Option Shift E. And I put those sets of windows together, and they move as one. And over here, I just have an extra single window. So that's the window group. And now I'm going to turn those off. And now we're into the sky and the grass group. Okay, so this is the original picture that Chuck gave us. And the goal for the whole picture was to have the grass, the sky, and the wall to look like a building over here, and set windows into it. And so that's why I'm going through this whole procedure like this. So this is the original picture, and then I selected the sky and I put it on its own layer over here, and that moves by itself. And then I selected the grass, I put that on its own layer, and also that moves. And the next layer, I have another grass, and you could put a transform on that one. You could do a transform on any of the selections that I've showed you. You could change the sizes. You could, do anything with them. That, get it out of that. And stay down here, that's the sky. Okay, and then down here, this is the picture that I'm going for. And you could see I have the grass, the sky, the wall, and I took all those windows and I set them in there. And I did the same with the flowers. I used transform to make them very small. And there it is.
I love it. It's
Well
great.
done.
And,
Very architectural.
Yeah, really.
and now you can sell it.
Okay, any
Notice-
questions here?
Yeah,
Any of the presenters?
yeah, and I noticed, or am I imagining it, that you put on the top part of all the windows a little bit of a shadow to make it look more three-dimensional.
I'm not,
Or was
I'm not sure what you said.
Did you put a shadow along
Yes,
the top?
I did, yes.
Yeah, that adds it's subtle,
Yeah.
but it's great. It makes it look three-dimensional.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff to it.
I know,
There's so much that you could do. It's, you could be very, very creative, and I wasn't totally creative, but I did I think I added to it a little bit.
Oh, you did a lot.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody. This was wonderful.
Very nice.
Yeah.
This was really great. I appreciate all the hard work that everybody did to get ready for this.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, I'd like to thank everybody who participated tonight. Good jobs. I think people learned a little bit about making composites. If you have questions for any of the members who presented, you have their email addresses and phone numbers on the club list.